Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. Do you really think you can fight us without a universe supreme master? Humans, you're dead. Laughable humans. Under the neck of the silver snake, the universe masters of the demon race were all making attacks with all their strength. They also transmitted their voices, roaring. They appeared confident. With the help of Dream Demon Ancestor and their maximum power, even supreme true treasures couldn't stop them. Dream Demon Ancestor spun her tail. The giant snake tail grew several million kilometers long, like a soft whip lashing through space, as if it divided space in half. As for Peng Gong Master, he could barely resist the attacks from the 12 universe masters from the demon race. Peng Gong Master rolled over. He bounced away, yet his speed surged to light speed. Even though Luo Feng all fought seemingly at light speed, they were still slightly slower than light speed. Yet Peng Gong Master reached light speed and was transferred into the dark universe. Darkness Master smiled. "Come. Let's go," said Luo Feng. They both surpassed the speed and entered the dark universe. Dark universe. Dream Demon Ancestor was already 10 million kilometers long. The universe masters around it looked tiny. "It's useless. Demon Ancestor, we can't give them any chance. Kill. Kill them." Dream Demon Ancestor stopped resisting the attraction from the dark universe. She left the original universe and entered the dark universe. In the virtual universe, on the long stone desk of Huge Axe Godly Palace, sat all the universe masters. But the seat of Huge Axe was empty. Although the universe masters were fighting, they could communicate through the virtual universe and cooperate with each other. "I've already felt the power of Dream Demon Ancestor," said Peng Gong Master. "I know how powerful a universe supreme master is now. If I'm encircled by Dream Demon Ancestor and the 12 universe masters again, I won't be able to resist it." Darkness Master frowned. "It's difficult to fight universe supreme masters." Luo Feng nodded. "It's indeed incredible. After all, universe supreme masters were at a different level. The original universe presented restrictions for them. 1. They could only maintain 10,000 times the gene level of universe masters. 2. The limit of attacks was top tier level 6. 3. If they killed a universe master, they would be punished. 4. The origin of the original universe wouldn't back down, and their privilege to make their orders strictly enforced would be taken away. However, when it comes to assisting skills, like the 10,000 times life gene level and the flying technique at universe supreme master level, they wouldn't be restricted, as they hadn't reached level 6, even though its speed was 10 times or even 100 times light speed. Like resisting the attraction from the dark universe, these were all just assisting skills. With them, universe supreme masters were very difficult to deal with. Other great beings would be transferred to the dark universe once they reached light speed, but universe supreme masters could remain in the original universe, at 10 times, or even 100 times light speed. This was their power. "It's time," said Darkness Master in a low voice. "I've been using Black Prison Tower and performed sinking into the darkness. I haven't used my real power yet." "We haven't either." Long Yang Master, Huang Jian Master, Void Gold Master, and Qing Dong Master all yelled. "Me neither." Luo Feng smiled. Just like Darkness Master, he only used his assisting skills. Peng Gong Master smiled. So did all the universe masters. It was true. The human race hadn't utilized their power yet. The fight against the demon race might only be the first fight in the entire war. First, they needed to intimidate other powers. Second, they wanted to know more about the power of universe supreme masters through that fight so they could be more experienced. That was why they didn't show their true power. However, they had already learned enough about universe supreme masters. Peng Gong Master smirked. "Crush them. Make them fear. Make the demon race regret it. Kill. Kill. Kill." The 15 beings couldn't hold back anymore. Inside the Dark Universe, Peng Gong Master, Luo Feng, Black Prison Tower, and Boat of Mausoleum appeared one by one. Although they were far away from each other in the original universe, they were together in the Dark Universe. After all, the Dark Universe was tens of millions of times smaller than the original universe. They were around 100 million kilometers away from each other, yet in the Dark Universe, Luo Feng and Peng Gong Master were less than 10 kilometers from each other. It was like nothing to them. Luo Feng waved his hand and put away Boat of Mausoleum. Luo Feng, Peng Gong Master, and Darkness Master stood side by side in the Dark Universe. They were all moving forward slowly, as they would be transferred back to the original universe if they stopped. There were light spots all around the space. "They are coming," said Luo Feng. "Humph. The demon race." Peng Gong Master sneered. Darkness Master looked aloof. The 12 Universe Masters and the giant snake also showed up in the space, and the 12 Universe Masters stood on the neck of the silver snake. They were all less than 10 kilometers from Luo Feng. Its tail spun, and it could easily touch Luo Feng. The giant snake said, "You've been fighting in the original universe, so I thought you wouldn't want to enter the Dark Universe." "Ha ha. Dream Demon Ancestor." Luo Feng shook his wings and laughed. "In this Dark Universe, we can easily surpass light speed. There's no limit, which means your advantage will be significantly curbed. Why wouldn't we enter? Did you really think we would just stay there and be crushed by you? Significantly curbed. How arrogant," the silver snake roared. "Do you really think you can be as fast as me? You must know, you'll still be defeated even in the Dark Universe." The silver snake abruptly sped up. His acceleration speed is much faster than ours. No wonder he can move faster than light speed even in the original universe. Luo Feng exclaimed. "We've fully prepared. Hit them hard. Take them down. Down with the demon race." The Universe Masters from the human race were all excited to see Dream Demon Ancestor, and the others charging at them. The giant snake body of Dream Demon Ancestor left a giant curve in the sky with her long snake tail. It slashed at Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and Peng Gong Master. The Universe Masters from the demon race standing on its neck were also attacking him. But Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and Peng Gong Master weren't afraid. Instead, they were thrilled. Black Prison Tower appeared in front of Darkness Master, and under the godly power of Darkness Master, it kept spinning. Countless engravings appeared. Light flowed, and the engravings were changed into black light, concentrating at the tip of Black Prison Tower. The tower tip turned darker, then changed into nothing before it started to shine with white light. The black pyramid was gleaming. It hit the body of Dream Demon Ancestor, and it bounced away. "Kill!" Darkness Master shouted, and his team members appeared. "Kill!" Luo Feng also yelled, and his team members appeared. "Kill!" Peng Gong Master yelled. 12 human universe masters dashed toward the demon race with Luo Feng, Peng Gong Master, and Darkness Master. Although Luo Feng had 12 members, some of them had brought multiple bodies, so there were 16 figures in total. As for the demon race, they needed to concentrate if they wanted to use the supreme techniques, so none of them had brought additional bodies, as they would have distracted them. The human race was encircled and at an impasse, which was why many of them had brought multiple bodies. Dream Demon Ancestor, who was hit and bounced away, was also hit by Yang Jun Rod. "Kill!" Yang Jun Rod struck again, as if slashing the Dark Universe. Although Dream Demon Ancestor tried to fight, it dove down, and the Universe Masters on its body all fell as well. Ice Seal. Nightmare. Extinction 10,000 levels. Dragon Go My Heart. The attacks were all quick. Just when the Universe Masters all fell off Dream Demon Ancestor's body, when it was hit by Black Prison Tower and Peng Gong Master's Yang Jun Rod, the Universe Masters from the human race all started to perform the techniques they were most proud of. Golden Country and Ice Sand Ocean were binding the demons, especially after having lost their protection from Dream Demon Ancestor. They had a hard time resisting the siege by the Universe Masters from the human race. Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Peng Gong Master and Darkness Master both looked to Luo Feng. Demon Race. Luo Feng had his four wings opened, and his speed surged in the dark universe. Besides, they were fairly close to each other, and he had been the last one to make attacks after Darkness, Peng Gong, and the other 12 Universe Masters. Luo Feng put his hands on Blood Shadow Blade. Blood Shadow Blade, this is the first time I have used you. Demon Race. The blade was drawn. The human race terrified Dream Demon Ancestor, and the 12 Universe Masters. The humans were extremely powerful. Peng Gong Master, Darkness Master, all the other Universe Masters, and Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng. They made attacks one after another. Dream Demon Ancestor thought that Peng Gong Master and Darkness Master were the most difficult ones to deal with, and she expected Luo Feng to be incredible after receiving the inheritance. Yet she also thought that Luo Feng needed to train himself step by step even after receiving the inheritance. However, when she was diving and saw Luo Feng draw Blood Shadow Blade, she realized she couldn't have been more wrong. Darkness, Peng Gong, and Luo Feng. Out of the three, the most terrifying one wasn't the first two, but Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Dream Demon Ancestor lashed her snake tail and neutralized the shock wave she had just endured. She tried to rush forward. However, Luo Feng's blade was already drawn. This blade was the most important weapon of Duan Dong River inheritance, the embryo, and it could reach the maximum power with the inheritor. Even without using any godly power, the blade itself was already at top-tier 5th level. Its power wasn't known to Universe Ocean, and this was the first time it was utilized. Nirvana Incarnation, whispered Luo Feng. When the blade was drawn, it gleamed brighter and brighter. The light was only dimming when it was first pulled out, and when it hit the Universe Masters, traces of light concentrated and formed a giant black oval. The oval was like a miniature universe, covering the 12 Universe Masters from the demon race. Inside the black oval, the 12 Universe Masters were trapped in the terrific light. No. No. Let's stop, then we can go back to the original universe. However, the blade moved too fast. The Universe Masters who feared the blade had naive thoughts in their heads. The blade's light in the black oval immediately changed in a mystical way. It transformed into a streak of seemingly ordinary, thin light. The black oval cracked, and the light disappeared after shining for just an instant. It was as if a thin blade had slashed the universe. The black oval turned hollow. All that was left was the dimming golden light, which left a visible trace in the space in the dark universe. It remained there for a long time. No. The Universe Masters from the demon race roared in agony. They all looked furious and horrified, glaring at Luo Feng in the distance. They couldn't believe what had just happened. The great beings outside couldn't see it, but they were all trapped in the black oval, so they all knew how horrifying that was. The blade first hit Forbidden Master, who was the most powerful, annihilating more than 20% of his godly body. And then it slashed the weaker Jew Bug Master. His top-tier True Treasure armor cracked, and he died instantly. It then touched Sky Wolf Master, and the others, one by one. One attack killed one Universe Master, severely injured 3 Universe Masters, and mildly injured the others. If he attacks us several times again, more than half of us will die. Even the supreme True Treasure Godly Rod from Peng Gong isn't that powerful. Too sharp. I can feel that blade slashing me, and the force penetrated my True Treasure armor, taking 16% of my godly body. Unbelievable. That blade light was too dense and sharp. Even the armor can't dissipate it. They all felt terrified. Normally, a True Treasure armor could distribute the shock wave to the entire body. However, the attack from Luo Feng concentrated all the power at the tip, and it was dense. The blade technique was created by Luo Feng, and using Blood Shadow Blade to perform it made it all the more forceful. Original Universe. Go back to the original universe. Quick! The Universe Masters from the demon race all stopped. Do you really think you can run away? Luo Feng stopped abruptly. All of them disappeared. Peng Gong Master, Darkness Master and the other masters all stopped. As for Dream Demon Ancestor, she immediately followed Luo Feng and stopped. The team of the demon race and the team of the human race all showed up in the sky at the same time. Golden Country and the endless white sands were floating, spreading across the sky. Luo Feng was its master. Go. Demon Ancestor. Demon Ancestor. The universe masters were all upset. If they hadn't been affected, they would have been able to defend themselves against Luo Feng. However, they couldn't defend themselves when being besieged by all the 16 universe masters within the human race, especially under the domain and being suddenly attacked. One of the universe masters died, and all of them were injured either severely or mildly. They couldn't fight Luo Feng anymore under the binding. Luo Feng. Dream Demon Ancestor roared in the distance. Luo Feng took a look, and he slashed with blood shadow blade again. Dream Demon Ancestor was blasted away in the dark universe. Perhaps it wasn't far from the universe masters from the demon race in the dark universe. In the original universe, it was tens of millions of times farther. Even with Dream Demon Ancestor's speed, it took her a long while. However, Luo Feng was close to the universe masters of the demon race all the time. Other universe masters of his team, like Darkness Master, were also close to each other. Those universe masters had been attacking the demon race in the dark universe. Darkness Master was only controlling Black Prison Tower, and he was with Huang Jian Master and Qing Dong Master. Only Peng Gong Master was a bit farther as he fought Dream Demon Ancestor. In Demon Ancestor Secret Region, a giant, sawtooth-shelled strange beast remained in space. Its body was still, as if it were sleeping. Space and time were twisted around him. Dream T is calling for help. The sawtooth-shelled beast suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes were gleaming. He teleported to his god country, and through god country transportation, he headed toward the destination. Luo Feng completely ignored Dream Demon Ancestor, who couldn't touch him in short time. He waved his blood shadow blade again. It was breathtaking. The blade of light shone, starting with a slight trace. It grew thicker, covering the sky and land, forming a giant, black miniature universe and covering all the universe masters completely. Then the black miniature universe cracked, and a thin yet shining golden light flashed. Thin space cracks appeared in the sky, and they cut the space fragments within them. Luo Feng transmitted his voice. Darkness, get them. Darkness Master looked up to the sky. I've been waiting for this moment. When the dark miniature universe dissipated, the universe masters started to prepare for a fight, especially with the two top-tier 5th-level universe masters resisting it. They all survived the disaster. Though they were injured severely, they all survived the terrific blade attacks. However, before they could feel a sense of relief, a giant black pyramid showed up above them. Get in. Darkness Master controlled that floating black prison tower. The 16 godly bodies of the 12 universe masters started to encircle the universe masters from the demon race. They all panicked, as the swallowing power of the supreme true treasure was too strong. A pinnacle true treasure was already enough to swallow Yuan Ao Master, forcing him to self-destruct. However, the supreme true treasure was doing the job. The universe masters from the demon race were already severely injured, and under the pressure from Golden Country and Snow Sand Ocean, many of them didn't even have 1/10 of their power anymore. They only had 50% of their godly bodies left. More than 3 of them didn't even have half their godly bodies left. Get into the palace type true treasure. Hide. Resist. Let's go. Under the soul attacks and illusion attacks, universe masters from the demon race whose power was weakened completely panicked. They were trapped in illusions and couldn't even break out of them. 3 of the 11 demon race universe masters entered the palace type true treasure brought by Forbidden Master. However, not everyone could do the same thing under such chaos. 2 universe masters were sucked into Black Prison Tower. No. Stop them. Stop them. The universe masters who were stronger tried to stop it, but another blade of light shone at this time. No, roared some of the demon race's universe masters. Dream Demon Ancestor, who saw this scene, was also furious. She yelled. They had come for the humans, seeking to catch some universe masters and to force them to give up the inheritance, yet one of their universe masters had died while two were caught before they could capture any human universe masters. Human. Dream Demon Ancestor cried. Sky Wolf Master, Mohu Master. Luo Feng smiled as he whispered these two names. They were the two who had been sucked into Black Prison Tower. Within Black Prison Tower, amidst the quiet space that was filled with black haze, two figures were rapidly sucked in. One was a tumbling sky wolf, and the other was an Inksceptor beast, a three-tailed beast that was covered in scales and had 3 horns on its head. One was Sky Wolf Master, the other was Inksceptor Master. Both of them were truly ancestral figures among the demons, yet at that moment, both were imprisoned. Not good. Sky Wolf Master blinked. Just a moment ago, it had awoken from its illusion to give a sudden shout of objection. Inksceptor Master, who was by its side, was also frantic. Sky Wolf, what should we do? We have been imprisoned in that supreme true treasure Black Prison Tower. Inksceptor Master was panicking. Black Prison Tower. Sky Wolf Master looked around anxiously. The space ripples in here were totally cut off from the outside world. Teleportation. God country transportation. No. There was no way they could escape. I don't have any other bodies, Sky Wolf Master said, on edge. Done. This was truly a nightmare. It was needless to mention that for a universe supreme master to be imprisoned in this supreme true treasure palace, there would be simply no chance for escape. If the two of them had other bodies, then there would be nothing much to fret over. Yet neither Sky Wolf Master nor Inksceptor Master were highly ranked demon universe masters. Neither had any other bodies. If they did, then their status would naturally have been different. Even if they were suppressed within a supreme true treasure palace, with other bodies elsewhere, they could have simply self-destructed right away. That way, even if they lost their precious true treasures in the process of self-destruction, at least they could have ensured their survival. Wait! Sky Wolf Master shouted. We will wait for our chance. Dream Demon Ancestor is still out there. We still have a chance. I believe that Shock Demon Ancestor will rush over soon. By that time, our ancestors just have to snatch this Black Prison Tower away from the humans. Then we can get out of here. Right. Inksceptor Master was at his wit's end. There was only this way out now. Dream Demon Ancestor and Shock Demon Ancestor will surely come to our rescue. No. Loathsome. Just as the Demon Universe Masters were howling and Dream Demon Ancestor, who had rushed over at such a transcendent speed of flight, was roaring with rage, their enemy, the humans, were, on the contrary, exhilarated. Pengong Master, Darkness Master, Luo Feng, and a large group of Universe Masters were all smiles, and they were so happy that their heartfelt joy was second to none. The basic target has been achieved. Pengong Master exclaimed excitedly when they were back within the virtual universe. We have exterminated one Universe Master, caught 2 Universe Masters, Sky Wolf Master and Inksceptor Master, who are mere nobodies among the demons, so they are unable to escape no matter how they try. It takes such a long time for a rare occurrence of a Universe Master's annihilation, yet today, the demons lost 3 to us in an instant. If news gets out, those minor groups whose powers do not match up to the demons will naturally be scared out of their wits. We are able to cause the demons to lose 3 Universe Masters before their most powerful great being, Dream Demon Ancestor. So when it comes to dealing with those minor groups, exterminating them in one swift move should be a piece of cake. That's right. Our basic target has been achieved. Now, we can kill and capture as we please. The more we kill or capture, the more effectively it will work out for us. Luo Feng, Pengong, and Darkness were all very excited. The human race had Black Prison Tower and Yang Jun Rod. On top of these, they also had Luo Feng's treasure. This enabled the entire race to have 3 6th-tier Universe Masters. Even though they might lose out in terms of speed, in the overall battle, or at least when facing the demons one-to-one, they still had an edge over the demons. But Luo Feng and the rest were aware that the inheritance of the pulse of Duandong River was destined to attract various powers. The human race would have to face not only the demons, but many other groups, which was why they were under extreme pressure. If Dream Demon Ancestor alone could be so scary, what if there were 3 such figures approaching them? Or 5 Universe Supreme Masters? Most likely, one joint attack would sweep them away. Who knew? Maybe even Peng Gong Master would be sealed and suppressed. Regardless of the final outcome of this war, Luo Feng thought silently, from the very beginning, we will give our best in fighting the demons. Not only is this the first battle, but it is the battle of deterrence. We must unleash our best to deter the other powers from attacking. We have to let them think that there is possible danger behind them. If the humans seemed weak on the outside, the other groups would worry that the humans would be quickly defeated and would go under. Then it would be too late for them to reap any benefits, so they would all surge forward for the kill. But if the humans appeared to be terrifying, those groups would, firstly, be unwilling to pay such a hefty price, and, secondly, not be worried that the human race would be completely defeated by the demons, the automaton race, and the bug clan. Instinctively, they would just watch the show from the sidewalk. So long as the human race was given the chance for a breather, everything was possible. After all, as Luo Feng had explained to the other Universe Masters earlier on, this concerned all Universe Masters and Universe Supreme Masters. There was a possibility that at the critical moment, Darkness Master, Peng Gong Master, and Primal Chaos City Leader might just achieve a breakthrough. Once there was a breakthrough, the human race would have a greater chance. If I were to achieve a breakthrough from a Universe Master, the situation would be greatly different, Luo Feng said silently to himself. Now, only my original Earthling body and Golden Horned Beast body have extremely strong combat power. The moment I achieve a breakthrough from a Universe Master, Mosha body and Remote Ocean body will all possess the 6th-tiered combat power. By then, the situation for the human race will be greatly improved. 6th tier was the top. In the original universe, it was the strongest combat power possible. Reaching the level of 6th tier was difficult. It usually required a 5th tier top Universe Master with a supreme true treasure to achieve this top level. The human race only had a total of 3 5th tier top Universe Masters, Darkness, Peng Gong, and Primal Chaos City Leader, so even if there were 2 to 3 more supreme true treasures for the other Universe Masters like Ice Mountain Master and Longyang Master, they would not be able to unleash the power that a 6th tier top Universe Master could. Luo Feng had been lacking in his law comprehension earlier on, so even though he had Star Tower, he could still only unleash an extremely small portion of its power. Great Being and True Treasure had to come in a pair. This was the only way to achieve the 6th tier combat power. Luo Feng was different. He had created Nirvana Renaissance, which was a secret technique at the level of a Universe Supreme Master, so even without a Supreme True Treasure, he would still be able to unleash combat power that was at the level of a 6th tier top Universe Master. Dream Demon Ancestor is charging this way. That old fellow. The human race spotted Dream Demon Ancestor, who was charging toward them at an extremely crazy speed. I will stop him, Luo Feng said. Peng Gong and Darkness, both of you can continue dealing with that group of demons Universe Masters. Try hard to apprehend a few more. All right. All right. Peng Gong and Darkness had seen Luo Feng's ability earlier on. They had the utmost confidence in him. Behind Luo Feng, the 4 silver wings suddenly expanded. Then, mightily, as though they could cover half of the entire starlit sky, they brought Luo Feng up into midair where he was suspended with Blood Ghost Blade in his grip. His eyes were fixated on Dream Demon Ancestor, who was charging over at an extremely fast rate with murderous intention. At that moment, Dream Demon Ancestor was behaving like a lunatic, letting out piercing screams of rage. Luo Feng. Go. With a move of his mind, a gigantic boat of mausoleum appeared in midair and collided head-on with Dream Demon Ancestor, who was charging over at top speed and had no intention of slowing down at all. Because the boat of mausoleum had just been taken out, its internal engine was just starting to churn and retreated a little upon the impact of the collision. Right away, Luo Feng waved and retrieved the boat of mausoleum. Loathsome humans. Dream Demon Ancestor was still crazily in pursuit after the collision. It was simply too furious. Dream Demon Ancestor's snake head opened its mouth wide. A cyan-colored shadow flashed past the length of the sky and skimmed toward Luo Feng. In an instant, Luo Feng waved blood ghost blade firmly in his grip, and a thin blade ray was formed. It grew in size, and eventually, a large, black miniature universe was formed over that cyan shadow. The miniature universe split open. Streams of blade rays appeared in thin flashes to disappear the next moment. The cyan shadow, on the other hand, flew as fast as it could back into Dream Demon Ancestor's widely opened mouth. The two merely exchanged blows once. Dream Demon Ancestor kept his eyes on Luo Feng. What an impressive blade technique. A supreme true treasure, I suppose. Dream Demon Ancestor was deep in thought, devising a way to deal with Luo Feng. It realized that Luo Feng's blade ray had an extremely terrifying penetrating power. If the defining characteristic of Yang Jun Rod's power could be described as massive, then Luo Feng's blade's defining characteristic could be described as sharp. It was indescribably sharp. The four wings at Luo Feng's back spread out as he looked at Dream Demon Ancestor. Sixth tier was the top. It was, indeed, the limit as to how much power could be released within this original universe. My execution of Nirvana Renaissance has started to vaguely feel some obstruction, Luo Feng said discreetly to himself. I had not expected this so-called limit of the sixth tier to not exert its influence not only over Universe Supreme Masters, but also over Universe Knights and Universe Masters. Prior to this, within the entire original universe, there was not a single sixth tier Universe Master. Even if there was a supreme true treasure, it would be owned by a Universe Supreme Master. At that moment, Luo Feng, Darkness and Peng Gong were all of the sixth tier standard, and even so, they could still feel that layer of obstruction. Yes. This imposed restriction is the suppression exerted by the willpower of the original universe over Universe Supreme Masters, so that they were unable to achieve massive and mindless massacres, Luo Feng whispered to himself. But it was not so strong as to be able to make these Universe Supreme Masters weaker than Universe Masters. This is why, even for Universe Masters, the greatest power they could unleash was only to the limit of the sixth tier as the top. Previously, there were many rumors but no truths to back them up. Luo Feng, Darkness, and Peng Gong had all become sixth tier as the top Universe Masters, so they could clearly detect it. No way there could be a breakthrough, because once they got near, the obstruction they felt was far too great. Theoretically, for a true Universe Master, the sixth tier is the limit, Luo Feng said to himself. This is the case in the original universe, which is, in fact, considered quite an achievement. But I am different from them, which is why I am always at a loss. Generations of reincarnation eras. Finally, there was a unique existence like Luo Feng, who had received the inheritance of the pulse of Duan Dong River. Because he had Blood Ghost Blade. With Blood Ghost Blade, his power was elevated by one level. Extermination, created by 3 generations of ancestors. Once executed, his power would increase even more. So, if there was no obstruction, Luo Feng would now have really given his all, used extermination, and unleashed a 7th tier combat power. Within the universe ocean, it was the power of an ordinary Universe Supreme Master. If he was able to reach the level of a Universe Master, then he would be able to unleash an 8th tier combat power. What a pity that the original universe might be able to suppress the Universe Supreme Masters. But they were unable to suppress them to the extent that they would lose out against Universe Masters. After all, within Universe Ocean, Dream Demon Ancestor's combat power was close to the 8th tier standard, whereas the maximum within the original universe was limited to 6th tier combat power. Human, you loathsome fellow. Dream Demon Ancestor roared. If this was Universe Ocean, do you think you would be my match? With his hand grasping Blood Ghost Blade, Luo Feng gave a cold laugh and said, that was what virtual real devil god once said to double-face ancestral god. What a pity, indeed, that this is the original universe we are in. Luo Feng and Dream Demon Ancestor had only just started to exchange blows when, far into the distance, where the Demon Universe Masters were besieged, there was a sudden outburst of terrifying power. From within that palace supreme true treasure, beside Prohibition Master, a beast with a serrated shell over its body was suddenly seen slowly crawling out of that palace true treasure. Right away, the Demon Universe Masters shouted in excitement, "Shock Demon Ancestor!" This video will end here.